Thursday! Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. This is the Resistance Broadcast, TRB. We are the official podcast of StarWarsNewsNet.com. I'm John. How you guys doing? Thanks so much for joining us. It is our discussion show, but today, no discussion. We're doing the Kessel run, baby. It's back, baby! We're going to do the top 12 cameos in the history of Star Wars from our perspective. Then of course we'll want to know what your list would be too. With me as always doing the Kessel run and having fun talking about Star Wars, James and Lacey. What is going on with you guys? James, what's going on with you?
Been having a lot of problems lately in my life.
Just kidding. Did your lawnmower die too?
No, John. But almost every summer it does the like white smoke thing, and I'm like, oh, dang it.
Do you leave gas in it or something?
I don't know what actually causes that. I just usually when that happens, I just like change the oil and give it time.
What are you working with? You got a push mower? You got a ride-on mower? What's your situation?
When I first moved into the house, I had a push mower that had like a key start and like an auto train, like you squeeze it and it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Both of those features don't work anymore, so I pull it and I push it.
Oh, all right, right on.
Yeah,
Lacey, what are you operating with? What's going on? No, you have landscapers, don't you?
I do. I do have a landscaper that comes and mows my lawn once a week.
What's going on with you? What's new?
Nothing. Why are you looking like you're about to go into like an MMA fight or working out or?
What would your intro music be if you were an MMA fighter?
I don't know. I can't punch anything.
What song gets you pumped up?
I don't know. You're putting me on the spot right now.
I don't know. Probably something from Architects. You guys are like cool.
You love Architects.
I'd listen to
dude. They are like one of my favorite bands.
I'd walk out to some like Devil Wears Prada. Be like, yeah.
Actually, I believe we were in the running one time for a guy who was like wanting to use our song.
Really? You wouldn't get paid though, would you?
No, I think we were. I don't exactly remember how it all went down, but I remember that was a possibility. And I remember we looked into the wrestler and we're kind of talking to him for a while, and all of it just kind of fell through. But I was like, but I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't remember who the guy was, obviously, but
Lacey would come out to Basket Case by Green Day.
No, I wouldn't.
Lacey would come out to, I don't know what.
Dookie by Green Day.
I don't
know. That's an album.
All right. Well, we're in the ring now.
American Idiot.
So, yeah. But we're not doing a Star Wars war, but maybe they'll come back one day. But we are going to do Will of the Force. And James is going to guide us through that right now.
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
Will of the Force this week is brought to you by our generals, right? Actually, technically, it's brought to you by anybody on our Patreon, any of our Resistance officers, which I don't know if you guys know or not, but the best way to become a Resistance officer is to head over to patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. And, I don't know, make a little donation, $2, $5, $10, $25, $50, whatever floats your boat. But we have a lot of good stuff coming out that is exclusive to our Patreon, and that includes things like a giant chat room that people can come and be positive about Star Wars and have good discussion and know that every time they have a thought that people are going to write back and have discussion with them. So we're really proud of our Patreon, and one of the things we do over there as well is we give people the ability to submit questions for Will of the Force. It's not always a general, but I do want to thank our generals specifically, and those people are Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, Neel Shah, David Probus, John Risi, Micah Harrison, Michael Gaines, Jetta Rosewater, Bethany, Fett, Russ Harbison, and Kendall Gelner. I think I always trip up on Kendall's name for some reason. I don't know what it is. Something about the K and the G, I guess. But Kendall, you're awesome. Thanks all the generals for being who you are and what you do. Let's get to a Patreon submitted question right away. And this one's actually coming from Commander Randall. And Commander Randall wants to know, will Ray Sloan show up in The Mandalorian? And will she be in some way working with Moff Gideon? It's a good question. Randall, I'm going to ask Lacey first. What do you think?
She will not. I think there's so many characters that they're supposedly intertwining and bringing into season 2 of The Mandalorian. I don't know if they're going to bring in another character. So I'm going to say they will not.
They will not. All right, John, what do you think?
Yeah.
Ray Sloan.
I agree. I don't think Ray Sloan's going to make the jump to live action, especially when they're already trying to establish Moff Gideon as their main villain. Bringing Ray Sloan in may kind of muddle that a bit. I still think we need to vault up Moff Gideon a bit more and to have a counterpart or someone who may rival him on the bad guy side. Even if it's someone who would work with him. Either way, it's taking the spotlight off him, who we need to build up a bit more. And like Lacey said too, there's rumors of so many other people coming in from animation. It would be kind of weird. So I will we see the character again? Maybe, but not in The Mandalorian.
So I tried to go to see if there was a cast listing on Squadrons because she was seen in the Squadrons trailer. And I thought, these characters look somewhat realistic, right? They're not stylized. They're not completely cartoon. They might be based off real people. And I wanted to see if there was any cast listing for maybe who the look of Ray Sloan had been more realistically styled after, but it's not up yet, which then is the real thing that sways my answer to go, not at this time. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really do want it to happen. And I think it would be cool if Moff Gideon had one of those scenes where he's like in front of the hologram and he's like, yes, he's taking reports from who at this time, would be, I think in the unknown regions, setting up some of the First Order type stuff. And that was something that was teased with, the origins of the First Order. I don't know. It all looks very cool and connected, and she potentially is one of the leaders of the Empire at this time. So I'd like to see it, but you just got to think that it's probably not going to happen. But then it'll be really great when it does. All right, next question is, will a change in leadership at Lucasfilm increase or decrease the chances of a follow-up to Solo? John, you're going to go first on this one. What do you think?
I actually think it would increase the chances of more Solo. Disney, Bob Iger took the blame for Solo not doing well from the marketing and not pushing the date or agreeing to push the date. The director hirings of Lord Miller were by Kathleen Kennedy, and the firings were by Kathleen Kennedy. So the doubling of the budget fell on her. And I still love Solo, of course, but I think, with new leadership and knowing that there's probably still, whoever comes in probably still knows exactly who John Kasdan is with the treatments, and you got Jonas still in the mix, and everything in terms of the ILM assets are there. Rob Bordeaux's still going to be there. I think a fresh voice and knowing what someone could do with Solo, especially with Disney Plus and all the new technologies and stuff, still makes Solo a very attractive thing to approach. Especially now, like I said, with Disney Plus being an option too. The fan has opened up a bit. It's not just theater or nothing. There's so many things that they can do. It's a great property, great character. I don't know. I think it would increase the chances.
Lacey, increase or decrease? What do you think?
So I feel like my answer would have been different if the Snyder Cut stuff didn't happen. Like, I feel like I would have had a very different answer months ago if this question was asked. I'm going to agree with John. Ooh. I think that it will increase if leadership changes, because right now, I think more than anything else, Star Wars kind of needs some positive press and positive messaging surrounding their relationship with fans. I think that even though the majority of fans have no problem, I think there is a loud minority that do. And I think that saying that they saved the Clone Wars was a big thing. And if they brought this back again with, make Solo 2 happen, it would only benefit them if they did it. So I could see that it could be an increase for them if leadership changed.
I'm going to disagree.
I knew that was coming.
I think that a change in leadership would set up that it's less likely to happen. And I think the reason that is because of some of the terms you guys use, like clean slate. I think somebody comes in and they say, what were some of the positives of the Star Wars movies under the last leadership? You know what I mean? They're going to be like, well, we had a lot of success with The Force Awakens, and others. And then they're going to be like, well, what were some of the negative things that happened? And they'll be like, well, unfortunately, Solo's our least profitable movie. I think that's just kind of what it is probably going to come down to. And someone's going to say, well, I'm going to clean the slate and say, don't do any of the things that were even remotely close to failures. I'm going to come in, and this is going to be the beginning of my new regime and my new legacy. And building off of what the last person's legacy is, I don't know, probably wouldn't be in the interest of whoever is set up to be in control of that company starting, from that day on. So I think that, unfortunately, that could potentially be the end of Solo, but we'll see.
Jeez.
Next one is a Resistance officer question, specifically from Admiral Dale Brooks. Dale Brooks wants to know, will there be at least a second Star Wars Disney Plus live action show airing? It's got to be airing by the time we get season 3 of Mando. Lacey, this one's coming back to you first. What do you think?
No, there will not, because unless they're secretly working on something right now, there is no sign of anything being in production besides Mando season 2. So Favreau's already talked about how he's kind of working on season 3 already, so that's already working. And by the time that Kenobi and Cassian get back up into production next year, they're still going to need time to finish those shows. So I'm going to say no. I feel like Mando's going to happen first.
Question, John, do you say no? Just real quick.
Yeah, Lacey nailed it. There's no chance.
So I'll jump the gun here. We all agree. Can we change the question to season 4?
Well, hopefully there's a season 4. They've never brought up a season 4, but yes, we would see something before that. Because
you think we see something before season 4?
Yeah, because Kenobi and Cassian will be done with their production.
Yeah, assuming Kenobi still picks up in January.
Mm-hmm.
Films for most of spring into early summer, goes into post-production, probably pops out somewhere in early 2022, which is almost half a year or more ahead of Mando 4. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been delayed.
Well, now you're doing like doom and gloom here. Now you're saying what, Kenobi's not going to happen? Like, we have to go under I'm going based on the information I know, which is Ewan McGregor said we're filming in January.
Yes, but they also said they were filming back then, and it probably would have already been out by now.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
So coming out before season 2 was even a possibility. Coming out before season 3, absolutely 100%. But now it takes some time away from it. And now all of a sudden we're saying, not possible before season 3. Definitely before season 4. But it's like, if things keep kind of going the way that they're going with some of this stuff, we're going to rewrite it. We're going to take another look at it. Some things like that. Maybe they bag the whole thing and then they say, we're going to finish Mandalorian before we're going to let season 4 play out before we
I think
start with the new series or something, even though it's done, it's finished, but it won't come out until like February after season 4. So I don't know. I'm just playing around with stuff.
I think this scenario would have been different if we weren't still in COVID. Like if that still wasn't happening, because we've been in it for 4 months now, if this still wasn't a thing, that people are just starting to go back to productions now, and it's very sparingly, only a couple are here and there, like Cassian would have been in production already.
Okay.
Like there were some delays, but they were supposed to start shooting this fall, and now they've pushed it back again because they've lost 4 months of time.
Yeah. So season 3 of Mandalorian just happened, and Cassian is done, and Kenobi is done, and season 4 of Mandalorian, let's just say it's going to happen. Where do these air? How do they roll out in 2022? Like spring, summer, fall?
I have no idea.
Oh, I'm just playing off because we all agreed on that one so quickly. Okay.
I wish I knew. My laugh is because I wish I knew. I feel like I'm constantly answering, I don't know.
I mean, if you take the model of filming for Mando, it filmed for 5 months from October to March. If Kenobi does similar, or maybe less, because I reported that it's going to be 6 episodes, maybe even less. Say that films for 4 months, January to May. It would come out within that year. So they wouldn't rush it to that calendar year 2021. Maybe they want to get a good jump start on Q1 for 2022. New CEO, new president of Lucasfilm, 2022. Maybe you see Kenobi spring 2022. Maybe.
Yeah, so that's after Mando season 4.
No. 3.
Because season 2 comes out in 2020.
Right. And then
season 3 would come out in 2022.
2021.
21. Yeah.
And then Kenobi would come out spring of 2022 ahead of Mando season 4. How you doing?
And you said in 2023.
No, I didn't, James.
He said
what is going on? All right, Will of the Forest. Jesus.
All right, let's get to the last one. Will Star Wars have a non-human/humanoid main villain in a future film saga or series? What do you think, John?
I'll say yes, just because if they do eventually do what they're saying they're going to do and tell new stories, and they tell a lot of them, the odds are that one of them's going to pop up and be some sort of weird villain. I don't know what they have in terms of budget for a TV show to do some sort of, CG crazy creature thing. Although it'd be weird to have a creature being a main villain. I don't know. I'm going to say yes just because they've never done it, and if Star Wars wants to start doing new things, it'd be a good way to go. So they may not, but I'm going to say yes.
Lacey, any thoughts on this?
I'm going to say yes, they will. I would love to see it. I think it's something cool. We've seen it with Jabba. We've seen it with, General Grievous is kind of like not obviously human. So I think there's something about it when the villain isn't human that you can kind of disconnect from it a little bit more and just see it as an evil entity. Yeah. I think Thanos worked really well because he was just like, you saw him as someone that was just trying to get rid of humans, and then it was like us against them.
He's humanoid though, right?
I guess. I don't really know that much about like the ins and outs of Marvel. I just know that he's purple, he's super muscular, and he's clearly not human. So that's what I'm going off of, that he's an alien. So the idea that it's like us versus them, like humans come together and fight the bad guy, I find that attractive, and I think that would be really cool to have some type of weird creature. Like that's why I'm like so kind of still obsessed with the baby head thing, like the webbish bog or whatever they call it. Like that is so cool, and that is so Star Wars, and I feel like we missed out on that. from all the sketches and the concept art and what we saw and what they actually built. Like I feel like we missed out on creatures in the sequel trilogy. So I would love it to be some crazy over the top creature as the bad guy. So yes, they will.
I think they probably will. We were really close to getting Dryden Voss as a non-human,
like a lion
character.
guy, right?
Yeah. And then I think just because of the pushbacks and the time restraints that they were on, they were like, let's just make him human. Let's just, cut down budget on this one.
Well, all the mapping and stuff they did was on Michael K. Williams. They would have to redo everything in terms of the assets on Paul Bettany. And he's like, dude, I'll show up and help you, but I'm not doing all this dots on my face and tracking and stuff. Like, just CGI some scars on me. Thanks.
They did that because he's too attractive.
Like,
so they had to be like, we have to make you ugly a little bit.
He's like, I just got out of the Vision outfit. You're not putting me in another one.
Yeah, he just had that stone burned into my forehead. Like, we're not doing this.
But no, I think that I think you guys are right. The only unfortunate part of it is that we've never really gotten it as the major villain. The closest I would say is Jabba the Hutt. And he's not really the main villain, but he's someone that we know historically works.
Yes.
Right? It's like, what a stupid, dumb villain. And it's like, worked 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Chewbacca as well is another example. He's not a villain, but he is a character that you're like, there's no way that's going to work as one of like the main characters in this movie. And obviously like massively beloved. So
imagine explaining Chewbacca to someone before Chewbacca existed. Like, okay, there's this huge thing. It's kind of like a Sasquatch, kind of like a dog. He just like talks and growls.
Yeah,
and
they'd probably
like,
have to say like when did Harry and the Hendersons come out? Was that after Star Wars?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
You'd have to just say like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, to this question, what if it's a droid? That's not humanoid, right? What if there's a droid main villain?
Well,
is that a little too Terminator-y?
Well, R2-D2 is not humanoid, C-3PO is.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, it's kind of one of those things too. Technically, I think even if they did do the Tiger Michael K. Williams thing, I still think that would be considered humanoid. That's why your question really tripped me up. I was like, man, humanoid though. You have to do something.
Well, because I thought of Snoke,
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Dryden Voss. Dryden Voss is not human.
Right. Yeah.
But he's human-like.
Right.
So anyway, I think we all agree that they probably will do that down the line. Let's just hope it's in a movie more than a series.
Movie.
I think.
Or maybe Solo 2
John.
with Jabba again.
Boom.
That's what I'm talking about. Get that puppet back. Get those sick, sweaty dudes in that puppet, Lacey.
Yes. Get the puppet.
John, that is it for Will of the Force. What's our next section?
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
All right. It is back. It is the Kessel Run. If you're new to TRB, the Kessel Run is our tribute to Han Solo and Chewie and the gang who did the Kessel Run. Why? Because the number 12 for each parsec. We're going to do our list of 12 things. We put together our list together, 4 things each. This week is the 12 best cameos in Star Wars history. Obviously, Star Wars is loaded with cameos from the first film through the sequel trilogy and will continue into the future of the franchise. So we have our list for you here. And what we want you guys to do is comment with your picks. If we don't pick yours, there's like 150. It's insane the amount of cameos there are in Star Wars if you look at like the Wikipedia log of it. But we gave our 12. Hit us up in the comments or on Twitter at RBATSWNN with your picks. Quote tweet our episode. We'll retweet it, whatever. We'll have some fun with it. But we're going to give you ours now. I'm going to start this thing off, guys. My first pick, and I'll admit, I slept on this, and I didn't realize he was in the movie until I started researching my picks. I did not know that Ralph McQuarrie cameoed in The Empire Strikes Back. I
didn't know that one either when you sent that over.
And we just did our commentary, and I wish I had known then. And I wish J.W. Rinsler told me. What the heck, man? No, but so he played Farrell McQuarrie P-H-A-R-L, Macquarie. He was one of the guys that John Ratzenberger's character was talking to in the Hoth base hangar.
I've been watching a lot of Supermarket Sweep, and I just see that name and I'm like, obviously it's Ralph just mixed up.
Yes. Yeah, I've actually been watching that on Netflix too.
It's so good.
I love that.
They're bringing a new version out, so
you got to get all the turkeys in the diapers.
No, you don't do that.
So yeah, Ralph Macquarie, and I picked him because, you know, everything you see in Star Wars in terms of landscapes and concept designs and stuff are his, and even today they're still using his stuff.
Yeah.
And Doug Chang still borrows from him, and all the new people still borrow from him. So I love the fact that he got to be in Star Wars, let alone my favorite Star Wars movie. And I was today years old when I found out that he was in it. So now when I watch Empire and I see him, I can be like, Ralph freaking Macquarie, he designed everything. And he's right there, just standing there, just doing his
literally
thing.
everything.
Lucas was like, dude, put on a parka, put on a little hat and go out there.
You're Farrell now.
Yo, he's probably like, so what's my character's name? They're like, Farrell?
Macquarie.
Yeah.
That to me sounds like the age old, like they just had a formula at the time.
Yeah.
And I think they still do that. They're like, you know, it's like Pig Latin sort of, like put the last letter of your name at the beginning. Right. Yeah. And I would be like, Yajem or something, like Baney. Like, I don't know, mixing up my last and first name or something. Yeah. Yekel?
Yeah, Lacey backwards.
You're up. Oh. You're up, Lacey. Unless you have anything to say about Ralph Macquarie. I know you're a big art person. But.
It's funny you said that, like, everybody still pulls from him. Immediately what I thought about was Yoshi Vu saying he was going to the archives and pulling these old Macquarie stuff and looking at them for his visual effects. So, like, he's not going away. He's one of those, like, constant things in Star Wars, which is important because you want it to all look Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So my pick of my first of my four, I guess. My first pick is Daniel Craig in The Force Awakens.
Nice.
So this is one of those ones that was everywhere. But I feel like I'm dialing my head back to the time when it came out. I feel like at first it was rumored that he was in it. And people were like, no, he's not. That's no way that's him. And then like months later, they were like, yeah, it's him. Like I feel at first they said it wasn't him because they didn't want to ruin it, or like they wanted to let it sit for a little bit. But the funny thing is now that they've said it's him, it's all I hear when that scene comes up, which is obviously the scene where Rey's strapped to the interrogation thing and she goes, you know, drop your gun. And he's like, scavenger scum. And like, but it's all I hear now. But I just find it really funny that James Bond was like, hey, can I be a stormtrooper?
I wonder if they were filming Bond in a nearby Pinewood. And he's like, can I like shoot over?
Yeah, can I just be?
And you know what's funny? He doesn't really sound like him. He like changed his voice a bit. So
it's weird because it's very similar to Mark Hamill in The Rise of Skywalker, where he starts with one accent and then switches. Like he starts with with like an American accent.
With Bulio, you mean?
Yes.
I still don't see it, but
it's there. So he starts with like more of an American accent, and then the scavenger scum sounds very British. So that's where it's like weird. Now go back and listen to it. You're gonna be like, oh, she's kind of right. It's just it's one of those weird things that kind of like, but it's just James Bond is awesome.
And wasn't he like his stormtrooper name 007 or something like that? They said.
It was
like TK007.
No, it actually wasn't. When I looked it up on Wikipedia, it was like 2481 or something like that.
Missed opportunity.
I know. I think that was one of the things that was like, as you say, John, you take one bit of information that's correct and you add another piece of information that's not correct. And people said, oh, he's TK007. He was not. But I'll look it up while James is talking and see if that's true.
The funny thing about his cameo is that I think John mentioned it, like he doesn't really sound like him, and yet you were still like, I hear it every time. And I have always thought exactly in between you two. Like I'm sitting there like, I know that's Daniel Craig and I'm trying to hear his voice, and yet I still can't, but I know it's him. And it makes me feel like any day there could be a Tonight Show thing where they're like, and you were in Star Wars, you were the stormtrooper, and he goes, and it was like, he's like, oh no, that wasn't me. And then I would be like the one guy that'd be like, I knew it didn't sound like him. Yeah. That's the thing about these cameos. I feel like everyone from now on, I could be wrong on this, but like we see people's face. So
1824. I had it backwards.
1824.
FN 1824.
I wonder if that is some sort of James Bond reference, though. Like, I don't even know what that would be. That doesn't make sense.
Idea.
1824.
All right. So, James, our third pick on our list of 12 goes to you for your first entry. What is your first favorite cameo or best cameo in Star Wars?
Well, as you guys, as listeners, know, or might not know, I generally don't tell them, John and Lacey, what my picks are, but they do know this one, I think. The character's name is Oma Tress. Do either one of you know who it is?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Oma Tress.
I should know this.
John Williams.
Oh, yes. Yes.
John Williams makes his first debut in Star Wars as finally, episode 9, he finally gets the cameo. He finally does it. Famous story of him talking to his wife saying he doesn't think he's going to do it. And she's like, you have to. You have to do it. This is the time. And more so than even what's in the movie, because I don't think I noticed it the first time. I think John pointed it out the second time, or maybe it was, I can't remember. But I remember being like, whoa, it is him. Like just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, I knew there was like a pan in on the bartender, but it just seemed like a typical shot. Like, oh, the bartender's in on it,
Yeah.
But after seeing the documentary, Skywalker Legacy, and hearing what JJ had to say about the set and how everything was, all the specific pieces, so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe that we just still haven't gotten to this day a close-up photograph and explanation of each one of those props.
Right?
It drives me nuts. I'm like, they've only revealed like 10 of them tops.
And then the prop builder's
So-
like,
I know.
I know.
Yeah.
I spent 3 months.
I made the barrels from Jaws to the finest detail, and you just nothing.
Like, they make visual dictionaries, and yet it's still like not in
They
there.
should have a
There's only, like,
2-page
3 in there or
spread, in
something.
the visual
They're probably
dictionary.
I know.
they'll do like a diagram one day that you'll have to like buy or something, I'm sure. But that's a great pick. Like, imagine his whole legacy, and like it's 86 years old, he finally gets in front of the camera.
And he
And all
was
he
so
does
like
is, like,
kind of not
this.
into it too. He was like,
Yeah.
Right. No, that is awesome. I'm so glad he got to be in it. I think that was a brilliant pick and choice by JJ. And the way they handled it and everything in that documentary, like you just said, James, is like chef's kiss, as they say. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
John's using all the internet terms today.
Am I?
Today I was this old when John used all the internet meme talk.
Thank you so much.
Stop.
All right. My next pick is Anthony Daniels in Solo.
What Solo?
Never seen it. Which one is that? Is that before or after Rogue One?
I'm channeling my inner gif of Samuel L. Jackson from Black Snake Moan. That stare. That's my favorite gif ever, I think. Yeah, Anthony Daniels plays a guy named Tack in Solo, and why I love this cameo is obviously because he's out of the suit again, which he had previously done in episode 2. But what's important about this one is it kept his streak going to appear in every Star Wars movie. And he played,
You don't want to be that guy. You're like, just get him here. I don't.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one who breaks that chain. They the Wilhelm scream is one thing, but Anthony Daniels is a different animal. So he plays a slave alongside the Wookiees, and he has a line that says "Sagwa this way." It was the emaciated Wookiee that Chewie like put the heads together with, that Jonas was telling us about when he was on our show. Sweet brag, TRB. And you see him though, but it's very subtle and very quick, and he does have a line, but he's there, and it's Anthony Daniels, not as C-3PO, continuing his streak as the only person to appear in every single Star Wars movie. And I think that is amazing, and I love every aspect of that.
Yeah, it's great.
Very cool.
I'm just thinking about that scene, and then I started getting into a deep thought of the Jonas interview where he couldn't think of the guy's name. He's like, Sagwa. And I was like, that's why I know that name. Sorry, I got a little distracted. But yes, that is a great pick. I wouldn't want to be the person that breaks the Anthony Daniels streak of cameos. Also, good for him, because he probably gets paid for all those cameos.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
I actually think I thought Anthony Daniels was a different character in this movie. I might be wrong.
I thought he was the droid at the beginning that gets crushed, but he wasn't. The one that's like,
no,
please stop, please, and then it gets hit by the car.
I thought he was a droid, but I don't know which one. Like, I remember looking for him because we heard rumors that he was going to be in it.
Yeah.
I thought he was one of the droids inside that little chamber that L3's in. And she like takes the restraining bolt off, and then he starts, and there's one that's like doing like this. It's kind of like a protocol droid or something, and it might be his voice or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm nuts, but I thought that was what we were talking about. And then you say he's in the tunnels again. I was this day old.
No, he's when they're outside at the Falcon.
And he says,
and the Wookiees like do their little like Wookiee headbutt, like I love you, brother, or whatever. And he's like human. He's telling the other, he's a human, and he's wearing like a poncho, and he's really dirty, and he's like, Sagwa, we gotta go, like let's get out of here. Like they were trying to bust
Interesting.
out. Yeah,
I'll have to take another look. Yeah. Man, so many new learned experiences today.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Star Wars. Yeah, Lacey. So you're at number 5 for us here.
Yep.
Your second pick. Yeah.
So my next pick is Gareth Edwards, the director/writer. He wrote the first version, right? Not the second version.
I don't think he wrote Rogue One. I think he just directed.
He had nothing to do. Are you sure?
Yeah, because it was Gary Whitta and.
Oh yeah, Gary Whitta. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused. But he definitely directed. Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. He was in The Last Jedi. He's in a couple things actually, but I'm gonna do the Last Jedi one where he's in the bunker on Crate. He's next to the guy that licks the planet and like salt. And he just looks at him, and that's all I needed. That's all I needed for that cameo. It was perfect. And I knew it was him immediately when I saw it the first time, because we all know what he looks like, and he's been on tons of panels and stuff. I remember I saw him in the airport once, and I was just like, should I say something? But he looked like very determined. Like, you know when people look like they're like on a mission? I was like, no, I don't want to be that person.
How do you recognize Gareth Edwards? He's just like such a regular looking like British
I've met him
dude.
Before.
But in
an airport, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, that's Gareth Edwards. I'd be like, there's some guy.
So there's certain things I'm really good at. I'm really good at remembering faces. Like when I meet someone, I'm like really good at remembering them.
So you're
not
saying
their names, but like
that who are you should just be a photo game.
If it was a photo game, I'd get it. I'd be like that. But the thing is I wouldn't get their names though. But I'd give you, it's like the typical giving directions. Like I could tell you every tree and sign and road, and like not by name, but by description on how to get there. But I can't give you the specifics. So like if you were like, who's this person? I could be like, they say this thing, or they look at this person, they give a high five, but I couldn't tell you what the person's name is.
Lacey would be a good murder witness, like pointing people out in the lineup.
I totally would.
Lacey would be like, it's number 4. Look at him. It's that guy. It's Gareth Edwards.
I have watched all the Unsolved Mysteries. Have you guys watched those, the new ones?
Yes.
Just the first one.
Good.
Yeah.
James, you have to watch episode 2. It's so good.
Episode 2 was really good.
2's really good.
Yeah.
And then the last episode, they saved the best for last. It is so insane that you're like, how is this a thing?
Unless I watched 2 and I didn't know, because my wife just started it.
2 is the hairdresser. that goes missing.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of hairdressers,
I watched that one. Whatever.
Lacey, I love
So it's all downhill from here. That was the best episode.
To me, it was.
No. The last one's really good.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty.
So I'll check out the last one.
That one's insane, John. Don't see the fifth one. The fifth one is
Speaking of hairdressers, though, Lacey,
what?
The Gareth Edwards cameo I think is so funny because they just put Gareth Edwards in there. They didn't give him
with a
a
hat.
helmet. They didn't give him any makeup. It's just that Gareth Edwards in a bunker next to that guy.
See, but you just said how would you
Who's
recognize
another
him
director?
in
Is he
an
not?
airport?
Am I wrong on that?
All right, in an airport, I'm at JFK. I'm going in my terminal, and there's people walking everywhere. I'm probably not going to recognize him. If a Star Wars director pops up in a Star Wars movie, I'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, it's."
I have seen so many people at airports before, like just sitting around. Who's that woman that pretended to be a black person? She was next to me in an airport once. What was her name with the curly hair?
Oh, I don't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Rachel Dolezal, whatever her name is. So I've seen so many people in airports, and I'm very good at faces.
I was on a plane with Retta from Parks and Rec, and
That's sweet.
Good Girls.
She's awesome.
You get on the plane and you like have to walk through first class.
Oh, that's so
And I
bad
was
for the
like-
first class people.
I know, but I mean that's pretty common though.
No, I'm saying
Right?
because the LA flights, because there's very specific flights that are very business oriented, like long-term flights, they always separate the first class. So when you come in, you actually go right, and first class, you don't even walk through it. But then the smaller planes, sometimes you do walk through the first class.
My wife always watches, or we kind of watch together the
Yeah.
Good Girls show or whatever. And I'm just sitting there and we're like, we just finished up one of the seasons. And I'm like, that's totally her.
You should have said,
like-
hey, we're big
I'm like-
fans.
I'm like waiting like to go through like you know how it stops. And I'm like looking and I'm like, that's
Well,
there's no way that's not her. That's her.
Ken Long was on me and Lacey's flight back from Celebration.
Thermal detonator guy.
Thermal oscillator guy.
That guy. See,
You're
I
right,
told
you're-
you, not specifics, but I could describe exactly what he looks like when he says it, and he's
And got the
doing this.
quote wrong too, right in the pocket. So, James,
Whatever.
James, you digging the Gareth Edwards cameo there? TLJ.
Yes, I am. I actually kicked it around with myself. He's not on my list, but if I would have went with one, I was really debating between that one and the Rogue One one.
It's a good.
The Last Jedi one, he has a line, he doesn't have the line, but he's connected to the line.
Yes. Yeah.
Whereas, like in Rogue One, he just kind of does something, right? Which is a big thing.
Doesn't he press a button?
No, he's the guy who releases the Tantive 4 from the ship.
Oh. Who's someone that's
So
in a... Do either of you have a cameo where a guy presses a button? Isn't Ryan Johnson presses a button?
Do one of us have a cameo? I'm not in it.
No, I'm
James,
saying
are
on
you?
your list. I feel like someone pressed a button.
Ryan Johnson is in Rogue One as well. He's one of the Death Star guys
That's what I'm saying.
standing
Yeah,
in the tunnel.
I thought he presses buttons because I
No,
remember
he, like-
seeing
I don't think
a
he
clip.
presses a button. They're just
Like,
standing there.
turns
They
his
go
head.
like when it fires. It's like what job is this?
James,
you imagine
your
standing that
job
close?
is to give
To
us
say the next one.
the 6th pick in the Kessel run to get us halfway there.
The sixth pick is, I hope I'm getting the name right, Raya Kirsch. Giving everybody a second. Anybody? Someone knows it, but these guys don't. That is John Knoll in The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
I am a big fan of John Knoll just because I think he's as much as people talk about how great he is, I still think he's underrated.
He created
I
Photoshop.
I know. I'm like I think people just generally today are like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, I don't think you get it.
He's
Like,
changed this world in such a way that no one understands.
He
yeah,
created
I mean,
Photoshop?
Yes.
yeah, like with his brother. Yeah.
When you
It
start it
was-
up, it says like created by John Knoll.
Yeah. And it's, yeah. And he started like Adobe and all that, you know, it's like, he
pitched Rogue
he's
One.
so crazy in the way that he's moved special effects forward that it's almost like saying like Do you know that old thing where they'd say like Sir Isaac Newton, he's like, oh, he was asked a question and he didn't have the answer. So he went and invented calculus and then he came back and gave the guy his answer.
That's what John Knoll's
because he needed calculus in order to solve the problem that the guy was asking. So it's like, that's John Knoll. He's like, I guess I'll just go do this thing that's never been done before and then come back. But I mean, to talk about his cameo, it's just the fact that now, as a Star Wars fan who's aware of all this stuff, when I see that scene, I'm like,
what scene is
boom. It? He's one of the Naboo starfighters.
Oh, that blows up with
He's actually the only one seen on screen that dies. Like his,
I bet he wanted to die.
His cockpit explodes.
Did he have a line?
Die.
Did he have lines?
Did he have a line?
So.
Yeah, it's always that.
I think it's just a simple line. It's like starfighters coming in or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't the guy.
I can't remember exactly. But
it wasn't the guy who said that little boy did it.
No, I don't think so. And that person is like looking up the side.
Yeah,
like, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, rolled down his window.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that funny? Like, have you guys ever seen that Dave Chappelle where he's like rolling? He's like talking about the baby.
He's like, it
was an old limousine.
An old limousine. Yeah. I think that was killing him
right.
softly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7 on the list. I'm going with Dave Filoni as Trapper Wolf in The Mandalorian Chapter 6. Really vaulted on my list because of the explanation of how they put this together in the Disney Gallery. In terms of how Favreau was just feeding him lines off the cuff and telling him to act very casual. So I went back and watched it literally right before we started recording again and started laughing. And it might be my favorite cameo in Star Wars because he's not a good actor, Dave Filoni, but that's what makes it perfect because it's very A New Hope Star Wars vibe. It's an X-Wing pilot in that era. And he goes, looks like they're launching a gunship or something. And he's just so casual, and it's because Jon Favreau told him to act like he's not interested at all. He's like, be as disinterested as possible. Looks like they're launching a gunship or something.
I feel like Mando Fan Show, we were like, Dave Filoni was kind of, like, I don't know. Like, when it came out, and now we found this out, we were like, that's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was fun. Yeah.
That is super fun. I love that detail, too, where he's like, just act like you don't care. And he's like, and then you don't care, and then the ship is, like, flying in. Like,
yeah, it's very intense, and he just like, I don't know.
Just blow everything up.
As we know, all three, I say all three, but the directors were the 3 pilots, right? The only way it could have been better is if we had that scene, but then once they fire the missile, the face of the missile was Taika Waititi.
Like painted on, like the old bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was Deborah Chow, Rick Famuyiwa, and Dave Filoni. That's the
Right.
Yeah. So Taika and Bryce Dallas Howard were missing, but they were those 3 were the only 3 that directed 2 episodes. So they were the main directors, I guess.
Right.
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, Lacey, you are up number 8 on our list. Your 3rd entry into the Kessel Run. Who you got?
My pick is off my lovely weekend of watching Hamilton. It is Lin-Manuel Miranda in The Rise of Skywalker. This is another one that, by the way, I looked it up before with Daniel Craig, James Bond. They were shooting James Bond in Pinewood, and he just walked over and shot this part. And he was dubbed FN 007 because that's what the staff called him.
Oh, so we got it.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. So that's what his on set name was. They thought it was so funny.
He was in a Bond movie?
Daniel Craig?
Oh, I thought you were talking
about... I know him
about...
from Logan Lucky.
I said when James was talking, I looked it up. We were right. That's what I was saying.
Oh, that's why I was like, I thought
This was a similar situation.
Okay.
And that I believe JJ was just like, hey, Lynn, come on over.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Lynn is on kind of a George Lucas level of creativity that not many people can reach that level of talent and creativity and imagination and just is able to make these amazing masterpieces, right? So it's just funny. You see all the things he gets to do and you're like, man, I wish I got to do some of that stuff. And you're like, well, I will never be at the level of a Lin-Manuel. But he was in it. He plays like just basically a resistance fighter that gets to hug people and celebrate at the end, which is like, we'll talk about the best part of the movie. Everyone's won. It's hooray, we're here. Yeah. And that's it. But I love Hamilton. I watched it over the weekend for the first time. It was fabulous. And so this cameo meant more to me now than it did when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm. I thought his cameo was cut. Mm-hmm. We actually talked about this privately in the chat. Sure. I thought his cameo was cut. And I went and looked, and I now know the reason why I probably never noticed him, because the actual scene focuses more on Rose and Chewbacca hugging.
He's in the background, right?
And he's just like off to the side, but your eyes are going to be diverted to where the main characters are. So I missed him, but it's pretty clear that it's him, especially since we have some pictures from him, behind
and him talking. I think in the documentary of being on set, I think he's part of it.
Kelly Marie Tran had a cameo in The Rise of Skywalker too.
Oh,
I know. I actually thought about making some jokes like that.
I'm not making fun of her, but she wasn't in the movie very much. That's all I'm saying. No, that's a good pick. It's funny. It shows you how big Star Wars is when someone as talented as Lin-Manuel Miranda wants to be in it as just like a resistance guy wearing fatigues.
Everyone does. Everyone wants to just, hey, can I just be in it?
And it doesn't matter how big or how talented you are, except Harrison Ford, that you want to be in Star Wars.
Right.
All right, James, number 9 on our list. The Kessel Run is cooking. Here we are entering the end of the third quarter here. Who do you got?
All right, guys.
He's got a smirk on his face already, folks. So
this is where it gets weird.
Oh, no.
My third pick is the extraterrestrial himself, E.T. in Attack of the Clones.
That's actually pretty good. Was it Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace?
I think it was Attack of the Clones.
It was Attack. I think he's in the little thingy.
I'm calling shenanigans, because I think it was in Phantom Menace when they call no confidence in Valorum and they show all the different pods of people saying vote now and stuff.
I was unsure of where it was, so I looked it up, but you're still, I usually trust your memory on this type of stuff.
But this is such a great pick.
Sojian.
This is a very
so that's the species.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I don't think my internet's going to be fast enough to look it up, but regardless, I think that was one of those cameos that like what makes a good cameo when you see them and you're like, boom, like immediately, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were in this, And I think everybody in the theater, no one knew that was coming, right? But everybody, when you see that scene,
it's Phantom Menace.
I guarantee you. It is Phantom Menace?
Boom, baby!
But that's so weird, because like I double checked to be like, it's definitely this one.
James, you know what you should have done?
What?
Ask the king, baby.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
Have theaters across the country all at practically the same time be like, oh,
James, did you
and
hear
then other people be like, what did you see? What did you see? What was it?
The canonization of E.T. in Star Wars, that it is him, because then he goes in E.T. and he's wearing, or he's like, there's Yoda masks or something like that. Like,
so yeah, in the movie E.T., when he's wearing his outfit, his like ghost outfit, he walks up to a kid who's wearing a Yoda mask and he goes, home?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then there's actually, I don't know if you've gone down the rabbit hole with this, but there's actually a full theory that he is a Jedi.
Oh my god.
E.T.?
Because of some of the stuff that he does, like he heals the plants, he makes the bikes fly.
Wow.
And some other things. So, the canon there maybe not even be that he's a Jedi, but that the Force and that E.T. and Star Wars exist in the same universe.
How about this? Ready to have your mind blown? We're going to break some news here on the podcast. with ridiculous speculation before we do our last picks. If they have a Wikipedia entry for E.T.'s species in Star Wars, do they list what planet they're from? Because then if he goes up to Yoda and says home, is that Yoda's home planet?
I know that we know E.T.'s home planet though because of the ride.
Not E.T.'s home planet, but the species in Star Wars. And go do it that way.
Oh.
I don't know.
But it would be the same if your theory was correct.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm just trying to have some fun
They're
here.
from the planet Soleil in the Dominus sector of the Outer Rim territories.
Soleil. Okay, remember that, folks. Probably not going to work out, but it's all right. All right, so I'll do my last pick here. I think that's a great pick. Lacey, do you have anything on that? I think that's very creative, James.
Nah,
Good
it's
job.
good. I just want Reese's Pieces now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would actually go full, like, just total dirtbag mode and do Reese's Pieces in a bowl of milk and eat it like cereal.
I'm just glad you guys are saying Reese's Pieces and not Reese's Pieces.
Can I tell you the other day I laughed out loud? We went to Stu Leonard's the other day and they have now soft pretzels for sale.
Oh.
So I walked in and I turned and there's this whole display of soft pretzels. They're like, you could buy the nugget ones or you can buy full pretzels. And I was like, oh my God, they have soft pretzels. And I like paused and I was like, I can't be this person. I can't be this caricature of
Were
myself.
they gigantic?
Yes.
Oh, you should have taken a picture or video for Patreon.
She says that, but the real reality of the situation was she was eating it. She's like, if John only saw me now.
I did not. I wish I would kill for a pretzel right now.
Yeah.
You can't not ever eat soft pretzels again because of that thing, though.
I was just
You're gonna
saying
eat 'em.
the excitement I felt in seeing one that I was like,
Yeah,
I
there you
can't be this junk.
That's pretty funny. All right. Next, my last pick, number 10 on our list, is George Lucas, Revenge of the Sith. He plays Baron Papanoida, who is a, I don't know why he...
Papa Noida.
Yeah, Papa Luckey Papanoida.
Me papa.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
weird.
I don't know why, but apparently his character is a playwright who was not a big fan of Palpatine, and he liked to try to talk trash about Palpatine.
Of course, he's the one character that's like, that Palpatine.
Yeah, and he's a playwright. Like, he's pretty much George Lucas in Star Wars. But he plays the...
jeez.
He's standing... He's in all blue, and he has almost like... It looks like an usher's outfit. And that's right when Anakin runs up the stairs by him to go meet Palpatine in the theater and do that whole big Darth Plagueis the Wise scene. So he's there very quickly. He may even be talking to his daughter, I think, who's dressed up similar to him. But yeah, George Lucas is in Revenge of the Sith very briefly.
What's his name again?
Baron Papanoida.
Dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So that's George Lucas finally made his way into his movies via Revenge of the Sith. So that is my pick. And then Lacey, you are next with your last pick at number 11.
My last pick is Ahmed Best in Attack of the Clones, who played Ahmed Beck. I think that it was something when it happened, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, especially what transpired with the whole Jar Jar thing and everything he went through. But it's one of those things like the meme with Leonardo DiCaprio where he's drinking and he's like pointing at the screen. Like that's one of those things that I always look for when I watch that movie because it's such a clear cameo. They're like, hey, look, it's Ahmed Best.
Yeah.
But I just love it. I love that he has his own character outside of Jar Jar and he got to be himself basically.
Yeah, and
he's related to the new character.
Yeah,
yes,
the new Jedi
and he
Challenges.
did that on purpose, and I love that too.
Yeah, I don't know if he said they're brothers or they're related in
Brothers.
some way, but did he say brothers?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Did he say brothers?
I thought he said brothers, cousins. There's something.
They have the same
family.
name, same last name. So
Yeah, I think they said. I think he just said that they were related by blood or related family somehow, but I don't think he gave it any of that. He also says that the character was not the character that you're talking about, the cameo, but the new one is also related to Mace Windu in some fashion. They haven't really got into that.
Well, or connected to him. I think it might have to do with
I say related in the sense of not blood related, but like related to him via acquaintance.
I want to say it has something to do with his lightsaber because they both have purple lightsabers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And also that scene, Anthony Daniels cameoed as a human in that scene too. That scene's pretty rich with some cool stuff. So good pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, James.
And Mouse from The Matrix is there too.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Sleazebag Bogano.
Oh, Death Stick guy?
Yeah, Death Stick guy.
I didn't know that was him.
And also, what's funny is the woman who plays, I think this is correct, the woman who plays the woman in the red dress in Matrix, who was created by him, is also in that scene.
Oh, wow.
She's like she's like one of the bartend people. So him and the lady in the red dress are in that scene.
That's pretty funny. Cool. All right, James, take us home with the last pick in our Kessel run, pick 12, best cameos in Star Wars. Who do you got for your last pick?
All right, it's a little bit of another weird one. You guys ready for this?
Sure.
Gary Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Fisher is in The Last Jedi.
What?
Yeah. Now, here's what's interesting is that he's in a photo that they used in Entertainment Weekly as promo for the movie, and he's very clearly there. And it was confirmed that it was, in fact, Carrie Fisher's dog. But that scene is not in the movie. However, if you keep a close eye, he still is in the movie. He's just in a different spot and a lot harder to see.
Where though?
Canto Bight.
Oh,
so
okay, makes sense.
There is a very large pinkish.
It's an
alien
homage
that has
to
like
Gary.
No, it's Gary.
That's what these articles are saying. It's an homage to Gary.
Do you mean an homage?
Yeah, that.
Do people say homage? Is that a way of saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm. So
keep going, James.
Not...
Just keep going. Keep going, James.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening if you're telling me that it's not him, because again, I like double checked this to make sure that he's there and that is the dog. But anyway, it's like a space dog.
Yep.
It has like a head or whatever.
Yep.
You're saying it's not him though?
They're saying it's an homage to him.
Say
Homage.
Homage.
Homage. I mean, that's still a cool cameo.
We'll still count
I like it. I'm still counting it.
Yeah, I'll count it too.
I totally forgot about that until you said it.
James, you flew too close to the sun, man.
No, stop.
That ET pick was sweet though, bro.
I think the ET pick was the best pick we had.
I thought they're certainly the most creative.
That came out of nowhere, James.
Yeah,
the ET pick.
James seems very upset right now.
All right.
Yeah.
James, I'm sorry. The first article that comes up is Star Wars. The Last Jedi features a sweet homage to Gary.
Lame.
Well,
all right.
You know what?
It's not him. But
we'll still count it.
Supposed to be him. So
James, you could just go with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that same scene. Or
there you
Justin
go.
Theroux.
Which no matter how many times I hear it, I cannot pick out his voice. I can't hear at all. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Like, they must have changed
Southern
his voice.
voice?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
I told him not to park there.
There's a shuttle parkers right there.
I hate that character so much.
All right, so that's our Kessel run. We did it. The best cameos in Star Wars. Thanks for taking the ride with us on the Kessel run. We made it. We delivered the coaxium without blowing up. Our picks: Ralph McQuarrie in Empire Strikes Back, Daniel Craig in The Force Awakens, John Williams in The Rise of Skywalker, Anthony Daniels in Solo, Gareth Edwards in The Last Jedi, John Knoll in The Phantom Menace, Dave Filoni in The Mandalorian, Lin-Manuel Miranda in The Rise of Skywalker, E.T. in The Phantom Menace, George Lucas in Revenge of the Sith, Ahmed Best in Attack of the Clones, and Gary Fisher, we're counting it, it counts, in The Last Jedi. That's our Kessel run. Let us know what you guys think in the comments of your picks that we may have missed. Let us know your thoughts on our picks. You can do that on the YouTube video or hit us up on Twitter at RBATSWNN. Quote tweet our episode. Throw your picks out there. Share them with your friends. Let's build on our Kessel Run list with you guys. And we appreciate you enjoying our list. But now we are going to hear from you because we're going to hop over to Lacey right now to take us home with your tweets in Resistance Transmissions. Lacey, what's going on?
That's right. It's time for Resistance Transmissions.
Booyah!
So the way this works is every week John puts up a crazy, wacky situation on Twitter, and you guys give your answers. And I've never seen what the scenario is. I don't know what you said. I try to avoid the channel on the days that he puts these out. And we'll read them on right now. So if you want to be a part of this, you follow us at Twitter at RBATSWNN. That was a mouthful. All right, so the scenario is what?
What?
What did you say?
Nothing.
Says the guy that was going to eat a bowl full of Reese's Pieces.
Oh, she did it, James.
No, nothing. James is so upset about Gary.
He's very upset.
Yeah. Reese's Pieces.
No, I know. I said that on purpose. I was trying to get a rise out of you.
You know what's another
because you
disgusting
so
thing I would
upset.
eat like a cereal? I think I've said this on the podcast. Animal crackers.
You have a thing for animal crackers.
Frosted, the carnival, frosted pink and white carnival ones.
Oh, interesting.
All I think about with animal crackers is that terrible Shirley Temple commercial that they used to play on Nickelodeon back in the day. That was like way terribly audio mixed. So it would be blaring after the previous commercial, no matter what volume you had the TV. So it would just start screaming at you about Shirley Temple.
Is Shirley Temple
the
still
ones
alive?
where it's like,
No,
She's dead?
I don't know.
pretty sure.
But you're talking about the like own the whole collection.
Crackers in my animal. You know that's.
No, I know the
commercial.
song. Is it the commercial
Yes.
where they were like, own the whole Shirley Temple
Yes.
collector? Teach your kids about Shirley Temple.
And it's like her signature, like.
Yeah.
She died in 2014 at the age of 86.
Oh.
Shirley Temple Black.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
All right.
I hope she has all the animal crackers in her soup right now.
There are so many people right now going, yes, that commercial is traumatizing because I've seen
Yes.
it so many times. All right. Now I'm going to have to tweet it out being like, who remembers this commercial? All right. So the situation is Rosario Dawson booked the role of live action Ahsoka. I love how you put #Ahsoka, which of course means others were turned down. Pick any actor and what their rejection letter from Disney would say as to why they didn't land the role. The more unlikely and ridiculous, the better. First up is Mello at A Grey Jedi. Hi, Mello. He said, "Dear Mr. Wiseau, no, but thank you for applying. Tommy Wiseau. You are tearing me apart, Disney."
Good job, Mello. Tear me apart, Tiger!
Next is Micah Harrison at Micah X Machina. Hey, Micah. He said, "Dear Talon Crevaro, we know it's you. Please stop calling. Sincerely, the Bobs."
Yeah, I mean, enough already with this Duel of the Fates. Colin, come on.
Next up is Joey Sack at Joey Sack, who said, "Dear Sam Witwer, we regret to inform you that you did not land the role of Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian. We are hoping that you will consider a role in the upcoming series Kenobi, a Star Wars story. Don't get cut in half. D. Filoni."
So that's a good one, Joey. So I did, you know, the awesome video of when we're doing the Kenobi recording the screen. I tried it. I did one, and I recorded it, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna release it.
Why?
But because it's like that's putting yourself out there, you know.
It's so just yelling.
Maybe one day, if I'm drunk, I'll tweet it out, or we can send it to the patrons.
So if you ever see it, John was drunk.
I wasn't. Yeah, if you see it, I was drunk when I tweeted it. Then you'll know I'm drunk. But I wasn't drunk when I did it.
It's just yelling, though.
I did the whole thing, though. I did the laugh.
But that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's like why in movies they say like yell, and then they're like and they're like no, you got to give it out because they don't want to give up something personal about themselves by yelling that loud.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just annoying.
Lacey's gonna rewatch all these like Disney movies. Like, oh, I never took it that way.
It's like in Forgetting Sarah Marshall when they're under the docks, and he's like, just scream, and he's like, ah.
Yeah. I get it.
This next one is out of left field for sure.
Next is Kevin Lewis at Thrawn Zon Fan. Kevin, I'm sorry about Monday's episode.
Oh, that's right. Kevin's probably.
I hope you enjoy the book, Kevin.
Yeah.
I just like Lacey's voice. Sorry about Monday's episode. Like you just lost it.
All right. So he says, "Dear Kathy Lee Gifford, we appreciate your inebriated audition, but the Star Wars brand might not be the best fit. We have sent this rejection letter along with a box of wine. Sincerely, everyone."
Everyone.
I'm just thinking about Kristen Wiig's, like where she's like,
"Oh yeah.
Okay."
Kevin pulled that out of nowhere.
Yeah. Love it.
He's a big Regis fan, I guess.
Yes. Next is Darth Somnus at Darth Somnus, and he wrote, "Dear Mr. David Lee Roth, if anything, it would be too amazing. The world just isn't ready. Thank you for your interest. Lucasfilm."
Bozy bop.
I just love how it's like, it would just be too good. All right. And last but not least is
I'm not for teacher.
Carl Axel Frazon at Carl Axel Frazon, who said, "Dear Mr. Cruz, thank you for your interest in playing #Ahsoka," because you're using hashtags in a letter back.
In the email,
letter.
Yeah. Or
just
letter,
making sure, and it links out to the trends of Ahsoka too.
Yeah.
"While you can do your own stunts, we need someone who uses the Force, not Dianetics." Is that a Scientology thing?
Yeah.
"Runs with a little more grace." "Is taller." Aww. Thank you. This rejection letter will self-destruct in 60 seconds.
I like that one.
That one's really, really good. I think that may be a Hall of Fame. That was really good. The self-destruct one is what got me. This one self-destruct.
It was well done.
All right.
Is taller.
Well, that's it for this week. If you guys want to be on the show, if you're listening, watching, taking this lovely episode in, where you're like, we're still going, you can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN, and then keep an eye out for the crazy scenario, and then you give your answers. The most creative, fun, interesting ones get on the show. Back to you, John. Sorry, I forgot that part. Back to you, John.
Are we still running our contest? Are we still doing the
Oh, we are.
brands?
Do you want me to go through it really quick?
Yeah.
So our lovely friends at Jewelry, oh, that's a hard word, Jewelry Brands, at jewelrybrands.shop is the website. They have a bunch of cool Star Wars merchandise, from necklaces to earrings to rings to bracelets to pins to all this other cool stuff. Like
dog tags.
Like so much cool stuff. So definitely check it out. We're teaming up with them, or we have been, and we're doing an awesome Mandalorian theme giveaway. It started on Monday, and we're probably going to run it into the next week. So there's 2 ways you can win. So first of all, what you would win is the client medallion necklace that Werner Herzog's character wears in The Mandalorian. I want to see
the jewelry.
Yeah, I want to see the necklace. Yeah, that thing. That big like pendant that he wears. As well as, of course, something Baby Yoda related. We have a snack time enamel pin that goes with it where Baby Yoda is eating the frog. So there are 2 chances for you to win this Mandalorian prize set. One is you can follow us on Twitter, like I just said. So while you're also going there for Resistance Transmissions, you can follow us and retweet the tweet that says retweet this tweet to win, and you're entered to win. And the other option is to head over to our Instagram channel. There will be a post there, and you have to follow us and jewelry brands and like the post. And all the directions will also be on both posts. So if you forget by the time you get there, don't worry, we'll walk you through. But there's really cool prizes you can win, and we have, other fun stuff I'm sure coming on the way, because I do have 2 Baby Yodas now, so one needs a home eventually.
Mandalorian show?
Yeah, probably. Now back to you, John.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for listening and watching, being a part of the Resistance. Make sure you do subscribe to our show on whatever platform you prefer, whether that's YouTube, how are you out there? Apple Podcasts.
Ring the bell.
SoundCloud, Spotify. Ring that bell. That's Bulio. Baney Bulio.
Windawa.
Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to us because we got 2 episodes a week. When it comes to this fall, we'll be doing 3 because we'll have the Mando fan show coming back. If you guys need your Star Wars news, you know where to go. It's StarWarsNewsNet.com. Every day we do editorials over there, reviews, and then we post our other videos there, including the Rumor and Theory review, book discussions, all down the line, and of course all your latest breaking news coming right at you. StarWarsNewsNet.com. Teespring.com/stores/Resistance Broadcast if you want to get some swag. I just got my hoodie, my hooded sweatshirt with the drawstrings. Loving it with our new updated logo. We got Gary the Porg there. We got Make Solo 2 Happen, a bunch of other stuff, most of them designed by James over there. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything else. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James?
Twitter and Instagram at Meyer Trunks is where you can find me.
Lacey?
You can follow my Soft Pretzel Stan account at Lacey Gilleran on Twitter and Instagram.
Now you have to change your name to that. Lacey Love Pretzels. Maybe I'll change my name to that.
Stop copying me. This is my brand.
Big Pretzel Lacey.
Big Pretzel
It's
Lacey.
called the
Good
Bavarian Legend, and that was one time.
All right. I got to start thinking of some stuff about that. All right. So I hope everyone out there enjoys your weekend. Enjoy your pretzels, and stay well, stay safe. And we'll see you on Monday morning with another episode right here on TRB, baby. See you around, kids.